So the question that we have is generally about mala. What are they? Why do we wear them? Why do people see others walking around with these beads on their wrist or around their neck? I can say at the time that we are recording this that I see mala all over the place, and a lot of times more as a fashion statement than for people who are actually practicing Buddhism or really understand what they are. So, quickly, it's important to understand that mala, or string of beads, have been around a lot longer than Buddhism. This wasn't something that came from Buddhism. It was something that was kind of adopted because they had been in use for a very long time prior to that. There's a number of religions that use a string of beads within spiritual practice. I can say that the practical way of looking at a mala is that they are nothing more than a tool for our practice. I wear mine, on a daily basis. I almost don't go out of the house without one, at least around my wrist, because it helps me to have a reminder. It's also very easy during a time if I need to take a break and do a little meditation, or to refocus myself, or to remind myself of my practice, kind of always have this thing around my wrist or around my neck. Typically a mala, a long mala, is 108 beads. And then any shorter ones are usually in some derivative of that, so 54 or 27. These are nothing more than a tool and a focus to allow us to have two parts of a concentration method. So if we are focusing in our meditation, and maybe we're using something like a mantra, we're repeating a mantra over and over, we can use the beads as a counter. So as we go through one, sometimes mantra are very long, so maybe we go through one round of the mantra, we can roll the bead in our hands as we're going through it, and we go through it and we go to the next one, and to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. It helps us to focus. I also teach and really like the use of mala in use to meditation and using mantra, because we try to be present in our meditation. We're not going into some spiritual plane. We're not floating into our heads. We're trying to stay here and now. We keep our eyes semi-open for that reason. So if the hand is moving, it keeps our body present and focused, and we are also focusing our mind, and those two things relate together very well. If you start to lose track of your mantra, your hand will typically stop, and it's a good trigger to know that you've lost your focus. Or the other way, if the hand is moving really, really, really fast, you probably have already gone down the rabbit hole in whatever thinking that you have. So I like the two of them in use together. They can come in all different sizes and shapes. Different groups use different forms. Some have different tassels. What I also like with mala within our practice is looking at a clock during our meditation. Not a good practice. It makes us think of the time seems to tick away slowly, and instead of really trying to focus on our mantra, whatever visualization that we're trying to do, or focusing on our breath, you can actually let your mala be the timer for your practice. So if you start at, they typically have a head bead, and if you start in either direction and know whatever cycle it takes, if I do a long mantra and I go all the way through every single bead, and when I get all the way to the very, very end and hit the head bead again, I can be done. I don't need a clock to tell me what it is. I can use this as a timer and a counter as I go through my practice. You can get these in a lot of different places. They're made out of a lot of different things, and I would say if you're watching this and you're thinking of getting one, you can get them online, you can get them at stores. It does help to use it a little bit, understand what size of bead. I like the mala that I tend to pick typically are rougher. The beads are rougher. It gives me a better grip, and just kind of the texture helps me to stay focused. So it's all preference. Whatever works the best for you in your practice is the best way to go.